We made it.
Well, one of the cool attractions off of Highway 14 that we are taking today, a back road in South Dakota, is tracing the history of Little House on the Prairie and Laura Ingalls. And you were huge Little House on the Prairie fan, weren't you?
I was. And don't forget the Wilder part on the end. That's when she got married to Almanzo. Oh my goodness, he was handsome. In the TV show anyway. Oh my goodness. This is just kind of fun to see. I'm still kind of conflicted on, like, is this real or not? Because in 1974, I started watching Little House on the Prairie TV show on NBC. I watched every episode. I have the book series. I've read it. You know, when you live in the Midwest, Laura Ingalls was a pretty big deal, and she was on TV. You know, of course, it was all made for TV, and that wasn't the real Laura Ingalls, but they do have several places around the Midwest that document her life and where she lived with Pa and Ma and Mary and Carrie and the whole gang. And this is one place in DeSmet, South Dakota. Laura lived here with her family in the early 1880s, 1880 to 1885. And Pa was here, and they ended up living in this whole area, and then they lived in DeSmet too. Pa had a store there, and they all lived there. I mean, Mary was there until the end. I mean, it was just kind of a cool story. I want to hear and read the real story behind Laura Ingalls. I don't know the real story. I'm intrigued by it because I've been so ingrained with the childhood story. But every time I see a country church, that's what I envision. I envision Little House on the Prairie, you know, where they went to school and church in one building, and that's the way it was. And there's a cute little country church down the road here that just looks like it. If you're a Little House on the Prairie fan, you remember how the girls would walk to school and they'd tumble down the hill and stuff on the way with Carrie in tow. She was the youngest. And there's rolling hills here, so they had that depicted very well. But it's just kind of a cool thing. Obviously not open this time of year. It's a little cold yet. But definitely something to come back to if you're a big Laura Ingalls fan. Over in Minnesota, they've got Walnut Grove, and they've got a museum there where they do an outside pageant involved with the Ingalls and things like that, and they did live there earlier than this area. I was researching online, and it looks like they lived in Walnut Grove, Minnesota, where the TV show took place in the 1870s. So this place was after Walnut Grove. So interesting to kind of read and learn the timeline of her life, but definitely an inspiration to all Midwest girls like me. That is so neat. Dress. So neat. Did you read this?
Mm-hmm.
I need to go reread my books.
Quick stop for lunch. And we invited Laura Ingalls, but she's not here.
She couldn't make it today.
On a field trip.
Not a field trip. So the Ingalls did live in Walnut Grove, Minnesota for real, not just in the TV show. And they were only here for a couple of years, from 1874 to 1876. They talked about homesteading here, but they had some crop failures and they decided to flee out of here. And they went to somewhere else. Eventually they homesteaded in DeSmet, South Dakota. So in Walnut Grove, they actually lived a mile and a half north of Walnut Grove. Guess where? Along the banks of Plum Creek. And that was the basis for one of her books and titles to one of her books. We were wondering when we were in DeSmet, South Dakota, where Laura and her family is buried. Well, they're buried in Mansfield, Missouri, and that's where they ended up going and settling down there. Almanzo and their daughter Rose. And Rose lived for quite a while. Of course, everyone's all passed now, and there's no direct descendants of the Wilder family anymore. So most of the TV show was filmed in Simi Valley in California at a place called the Big Sky Movie Ranch, with interior shot at Paramount Studios. And the sets were destroyed after the show ended and a replica built, but later burned down in a fire.
Well, that sure was fun, wasn't it?
It's always fun to reminisce a little bit, isn't it? And have a little nostalgia, because that's what that is, really, now that you think about it, you know. Anything I see that's like an old house when I'm out showing houses, or some of the things that you do in van life, kind of primitive. You know, some of the antiques that you see, that we've collected antiques over the years and stuff, always has brought me back to my viewing of Little House on the Prairie.
Well, unfortunately, the things that you saw on TV don't exist anymore. Plus, it wasn't actually shot in the places where Laura Ingalls Wilder grew up and wrote her books. It was out in Simi Valley, which is in Southern California, or was. And like a lot of those old 60s and 70s TV shows, the sets burned up in wildfires, and now we just have the reminiscing to keep things alive. But what was your most exciting thing to actually see while we were out and about exploring the Laura Ingalls Wilder Memorial Highway? It was Route 14.
I think it was knowing that that house was built by Pa.
Oh, the one in town?
Yeah.
In DeSmet?
In DeSmet.
South Dakota.
And I'm going to believe that that door was, that craftsman-y kind of door that has all the spindles and stuff, was built by Pa, but I'm guessing it's probably a reproduction by now, after all these years.
Menards.
By Menards or something.
Home Depot.
But, just knowing that, for what I do for a living, I think knowing where they live, seeing where they lived, where they, what he built, even their homestead was really neat.
Mm-hmm.
But then just being in the, quintessential Walnut Grove, where they said that they lived through the TV show, was kind of fun to finally get there.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Southern California doesn't look anything like South Dakota and Western Minnesota, but in Hollywood and in TV shows, nobody really knew any different, I don't think.
Great TV show, though. Great ones for the young girls still to this day. And read the books, too, because they're just great reads. I know our granddaughter is getting a little surprise for her birthday this year.
Yeah, well, her mom has said that they've been actually reading a few of the Little House on the Prairie books. So it was like, oh, this is cool. So they know all about that. And if you're interested in more things about South Dakota, we have another new video that'll be up after this one. And we're going to be exploring some pretty cool places, doing some camping. So that's going to be neat.
Stick around for that. We've been to a few of the regional states around us. We've done Iowa a little bit. We've done Wisconsin a little bit. We've done Michigan a little bit. We've done a whole series on I-90. So if you're passing through on I-90 across Minnesota, you've got some great footage there for you to do your research on. Just check them out in our playlists.
And if you're interested in what we've done so far in South Dakota, we're going to put a link here that you can watch a video of ours from a trip recently to South Dakota. So that's going to be awesome.
Always getting out and about whenever we can.
Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Even if you're a regular watcher, if you're not subscribing, please do so. It really helps our channel. We're wanting to grow and hit that 1,000 subscriber mark here before the end of the year. So only you can do that for us.
I love hearing the comments. I'm usually the one that reads them right away and responds back right away. So please do keep commenting and saying hi. We do love to get some feedback from you. So that is some great rewards for the work that we're doing for you.
Yeah. So until the next video, we thank you for watching all the way through. And for all the Little House on the Prairie fans, I'll do my Almanzo impersonation now.
Really? I don't know. You gotta be blonde-eyed and blue-eyed, and you're not that.
Blonde-eyed and blue-eyed.
Blonde-haired and blue-eyed.
It's not happening.
Almanzo.
Oh, well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching.
Every day, any day in the van is
a good day.
Or something like that.
It's our own slogan. We still can't get it right.
What is it?
Any day in the van is a good day. See you later.
See ya.